Procrastination, lack of confidence, and all the other things that stop people from taking action are exactly what I'm teaching you how to get rid of inside of this video by teaching you how to reframe your stories to produce the state that you need, that state of feeling motivated, confident, ready to take action that you need to produce the exact results you want inside of your fitness, your business, your relationships, whatever else it may be. So let's first dive in to the feelings that stop people from taking action. Fear, which is like, oh, I'm too scared to do it. Laziness or apathy, where it's like, I'm just not feeling it, or I just don't care. A lack of belief in yourself. There's a lot of these different emotions that stop us from taking action in certain areas of our lives. And we might be a massive action taker in one area of our life, but be completely apathetic in others. And in this video, I'm going to teach you how to get rid of this apathy that leads to procrastination and not taking action and not believing in yourself, that is going to change the game for you. So first off, let's just talk about apathy, right? Like, one example I see all the time is guys who are crushing it in their business, crushing it in their career. And even though they've gained a lot of weight and they don't look good anymore and they don't feel confident with how they look, they feel ashamed about how they look, and their energy levels are crap and their health is crap and everything is crap and their kids are calling them fat, or they're struggling to find, a partner if they don't have a partner. And if they do have a partner, their partner is no longer attracted to them. Even though they have all this pain around the fact that they've gained weight, they're still in apathy about their fitness. They're still in apathy about their health. All they care about is making money. Right? And, this might be you if you're watching this right now, and I'm going to teach you how to get out of that today because, this is something that happens to a lot of us. And so there's a couple things we need to do to solve this sort of issue of apathy, but we're also going to talk about how to solve the issue of fear and a lack of belief in yourself, because these things are all really important. So the first thing I want you to understand is that every emotion you experience is a result of a story that you have inside of your mind. A story is a belief, okay? So if you believe, hey, I'm a low value person, I'm not confident, I don't have good social skills, then when it comes to approaching an attractive stranger, guess what? You're not going to feel like doing it. If your belief is, I have a slow metabolism, I'm too busy to work out, I don't really care that much about being in shape, then you're going to have a lot of resistance around working out because your stories are producing a state of apathy around that particular thing. If your belief is, hey, I suck at sales, I'm scared of sales, making money is evil, making money is bad, you're always going to struggle in sales and business. And if your belief is, hey, I'm annoying if I follow up with leads, then you're always going to struggle to follow up with leads because you think that you're being annoying, okay? So we need to be able to flip those stories on their head and really get into the opposite story. And this is something that, you hear a lot from a lot of people, but the person who really made this concrete and tangible for me is Garrett J. White. You guys might have heard me talk about him before. I'm always happy to give credit to all the different influences that have taught me to become who I am and who continue to help me become who I want to become. And likewise, I hope that you give me credit one day when you're sitting on top of your success and all that stuff and sharing these lessons with other people to help them too. So, there's this tool that Garrett J. White has come out with called the stack. And the reason I like the stack, and I prefer the stack to release meditations, even though I love release meditations, I've gotten results with those as well, is that the stack is a much more proactive process and it resonates with me as an action taker and as a businessman. That being said, if I was in apathy in any particular area of my life, and I have been many times in many areas, especially in my dating life, but also in my business, even in my fitness, well, release meditations can help, but usually I prefer to do the stack because the stack's a little bit more of an active process, and I've just conditioned myself to go from being the lazy person I was 12 years ago to being more of an action taker today. So what I like about the stack is you go in and you just state whatever the triggers are. So for instance, the other day I was having, some resistance around following up with 90 people who I had had calls with, consultations with, who hadn't signed up. And my thought was, oh, I'm being annoying. Oh, it's not worth my time to do this. It's a pain in the butt, all that stuff. And those were the stories that I had. And as a result of those stories, I was in a place of apathy and I was in a place of fear because I was afraid if somebody was going to get annoyed if I followed up with them. But I had to go into those stories and I had to actually dive in and diagnose what is causing these stories. So what I can actually do, I can actually pull up the stack on my computer, and I'm just gonna run in the background and maybe I'll screen share it. But the stack is a wonderful tool. There's some private confidential info inside of my stack, so that's why I'm not showing you guys right now because I don't want you guys to see all the stacks that I've dive into with all my triggers and stuff. But with this particular stack, let me open it up, and if it's appropriate, I will share it with you guys because this was a very insightful one for me. So let's dive into the PDF and the first thing that you do, whoops, lost the page there, but essentially the first thing you do when you do a stack is you share with sort of the Stack app what is the trigger you're experiencing. So what I'd like to do is make this interactive for you. So if you're watching this video right now, I want you to think about something that you've been procrastinating on. Maybe it's, getting to the gym. Maybe it's following up with your list of leads if you're in sales or business. Maybe it's taking action on your dating life if you've been chronically single for a while or you've been lonely. Or maybe it's quitting alcohol if you've been overusing alcohol, or you see alcohol having a negative effect on your social life or your health, or your focus and your productivity and your energy, whatever it may be. So you kind of just go in and you got to state what the feelings that you're feeling are and exactly what's going on. So, yeah, I mean, some of the stuff's a little bit confidential, so I'm not going to screen share it, but essentially I had to dive in the story that I had that was created by this trigger around feeling apathetic was following up with the list is a pain in the ass. It's not worth it. It's a low ROI. I don't want to do it. I don't feel like doing it. It's not worth my time. Again, it's a pain in the ass. It's not worthwhile. These people would be crappy clients anyways because they weren't willing to take action, so I don't want to deal with their baggage. It's not worth the money. It's a waste of my time. It's annoying. I don't want any of them to get pissed off and tell me to F off because I annoyed them by following up. And so then the next question in the stack is, and I guess I'll just share it, right? I'll screen share this so you guys can see exactly what I'm looking at right now. So, following up with the list is a pain in the ass, all that stuff that I just said. And so what feelings arise from that particular, story? Apathy, right? And so what do you feel like doing as a result of this story, not following up with them, right? And then what evidence do you have that the story is true? Well, I followed up once. I spent a couple hours on it. I only made $250, which, I'm not super excited about because, for me to spend that much time on something, I'd rather spend that time on, working with my clients who have actually committed, who are great clients and all that stuff, right? So, yeah, and then, I had to kind of reframe the story and, get clear on exactly what it was. And so the beautiful thing was the revelation I was able to extract from the story was the sheer fact that just because these people didn't take action doesn't mean that they're going to be crappy clients, because obviously if somebody has a lot of resistance to take action, yeah, you're going to have to kind of drag them up the mountain if they're a client. But what if part of what I get this person to commit on if they're going to do my program is that they're going to stop being a non-action taker and that they're going to be an action taker? That's powerful because now I'm producing a win for the client because the line in the sand they're drawing by investing money in the program now doesn't just represent, hey, I'm going to get fit and whatever that means to them, but it represents, hey, I'm going to shift who I am as a person. I'm no longer going to be this wishy-washy person who doesn't take action. I'm not going to be this procrastinator anymore. I'm going to take action and I'm going to follow through no matter what. And then obviously they'll have me to hold them accountable as well as my team. But, I shifted the frame on that and I was able to hit a couple people up and I was able to get a couple people on calls. And while we haven't gotten any new clients from it, we did get new clients last time that we did this, and it was really powerful because this guy had his first consult with me a couple days ago, or his first one-to-one call, and he's super stoked because he's really clear on exactly how he's going to change his life now. So, just little things like that are really powerful, really cool. And so, yeah, I was able to reframe the story and shift the story to, let's see, let me just make sure there's nothing confidential on here. There we go. So I'm going to share what, the desired story I created instead. Following up with the list is easy and fun. It's worth it and will generate tons of cash. I want to do it. I feel like doing it. It's worth my time. I find it easy to do. Just send messages, listen to music. It's worthwhile. Some of these people would be good clients as long as I get them in the right frame. It's worth the money. It's worth the time and well received and welcomed by the right people. And F the people who don't receive it well. Best to screen them out of my life anyways if they're going to be annoyed that I followed up trying to help them, right? Some of them will be pissed because those are the ones who I want to screen out anyways, and the ones who I want will be stoked, just like my new client and my other client who decided to sign up again that I followed up. And guess what? This particular client said that the onboarding call got him really, really stoked because I'm a great coach, right? So this is kind of the thoughts that go on in my head when I'm doing stuff, right? But, it's 100% true because now I was able to take this story and instead of allowing this negative story that was running in the background and making me apathetic, I was able to then reframe this into a positive story that then allowed me to get better results. And I'll talk about the stack and stories, like reframing your stories method for getting rid of apathy and negative emotions. But in a future video, I'd love to talk about how to release apathy and kind of a little more about the levels of energy, which is something I learned from Frederick Dodson's book, Levels of Energy, which is a great book. So I'll share that probably in the next video. I'll make that on my list for tomorrow after this video. But in this video, I want to share the stacking process, and I want to make this interactive and valuable for you. So if you're watching this video right now, what I want you to do is pull out a piece of paper and a pen. If you're driving, obviously don't do this, but do it in your head. But if you have a piece of paper and pen in front of you, or you can have one, do it. And if you need to pull out your phone, notepad, whatever you got to do it, because I want you to get value if you're putting time into this video, okay? So what I want you to do is I want you to think about something in your life, something that in your life that you've either been afraid of, that you've been triggered by, and that you've been procrastinating on and that you've been hesitating on. So maybe it's going into the gym. Maybe it's committing to eating healthy. Maybe it's asking somebody out that you want to ask out. Or following up with somebody who you talked to previously who you felt like you had a good connection, but that person ghosted you, right? Or maybe it's executing on a business idea that you had, or following up with prospects if you're in business already. Or maybe it's talking to your boss about the promotion, something that you've been having fear, anxiety, and hesitation and procrastination about, and I want you to write that thing down, okay? And you can write multiple things down too if you want. And now what I want you to ask yourself is, how do you feel right now? How do you feel about this thing? Well, you're probably feeling frustrated, a little bit angry, maybe a little bit sad, or maybe a little bit apathetic, or maybe a little bit of fear and anxiety, which is like, what if I fail? What if I do it and I fail and I get fired or whatever? Or this person still doesn't respond and I feel like a loser, or whatever else it may be. And then what I want you to do is I want you to write down, what is the story created by this feeling? Like what story is causing that feeling? Are you like, hey, my boss isn't going to promote me because I'm not good enough? Is it, hey, this person's not going to respond because I'm not good enough? Or this person's too good for me? Or is it, hey, this business idea is going to fail because it's a stupid idea or because I'm not good enough? I mean, a lot of times these things come back to I'm not good enough. That's certainly been my biggest trigger because I had a lot of trauma around inadequacy when I was a kid. If it's fitness, maybe your fear is, hey, this is going to be hard. I don't even know if I'm going to get results. I don't want to sacrifice all this stuff. I don't even know if I want it. All that stuff, right? So write down the story behind that trigger and that emotion that's causing you to procrastinate. And I want you to just ask yourself, what's the opposite of that story? Maybe the opposite is, hey, I'm a great worker and my boss is happy to promote me so they can keep me around. Maybe it's, hey, this business idea is great and I'm going to go make a ton of money with it and help a ton of people. Maybe it's hey, this person that I went on a date with and had a good connection with is going to be really stoked that I followed up, and maybe my last text just didn't go through. True story, actually. My first girlfriend when I was 19, that actually was what happened was she had not responded to my first text that I had sent her after our first date, and I was kind of sad about it for a week, but then I decided to hit her up Friday anyways, and guess what? It turned out that her buggy phone just hadn't received the first message, and we ended up dating for 2 years and almost getting married, which was awesome. So little things can happen. This is when I was 19, this is a while ago. I guess I accidentally applied this principle simply because, I was willing to take action even though I was afraid, and I just kind of had an F it, I'm just going to do it moment. And because I texted her, that resulted in a 2-year win-win relationship, which was amazing. So, again, it just depends on what it is for you. Maybe the story behind working out is, hey, I'm going to do something differently this time because I've been watching this guy Munir's videos on YouTube, and check out my other videos because I have a ton of videos that teach you how to work out and eat properly. And obviously you can talk to me personally if you'd like me to customize that to you. And, obviously because there's some nuance to this beyond just the general guidelines. And, so maybe your story behind the workout stuff is, instead of, hey, it's going to be really hard, I'm not even going to get results, it's not worth it, maybe you shift that story to the opposite, which is, hey, I'm going to do something different that's going to get me really good results. I'm going to be super stoked that I did it because it's going to change my life, because I'm going to have way more confidence and energy because I'm in the best shape of my life, and I'm going to be healthy and live 10 years longer. Well, that story is going to produce a completely different feeling than, oh, it's not worth it, it's hard, blah, blah, blah. And then also in the opposite story, you put it's going to be relatively easy, right? Because we're going to speed up your metabolism. So you shift the story, and now the feeling is different. Now you're excited to do it because, you no longer have the resistance of, oh, this is hard, it's not worth it, I'm not going to get results. Instead, you're thinking, this is easy, it's totally worth it, and I'm going to get amazing life-changing results. And now you're excited to do the thing, okay? So this is a powerful concept that a lot of people, might not have heard of before. And if this is your first time hearing of this, then I encourage you to go into all the stories that are producing emotional states, actions, or lack of taking action that's stopping you from being where you want to be, and go figure out what's the story creating that negative emotion, and then think, what's the opposite what's the opposite story to that story? And then what I want you to do is take the negative story and the opposite story, and I want you to find evidence that both those things are true. So let's say with the working out example, oh, it's going to be hard and I'm not going to get results because the last time I did this, it was really hard and I didn't get results. Okay, so that's evidence that it's true, right? So now we're validating the negative story. Now let's go to the positive story and say this is going to be easy, it's going to be totally worth it, it's going to be life-changing. Well, let's find some evidence of that. Well, why don't you go on my YouTube channel, you look at all the testimonials of my clients who I posted. I used to post a lot of those. Unfortunately, I don't get a lot of views, but if you scroll back to about a year ago, I was posting a ton of testimonials, and if you want me to send them to you, just comment down below and I'll post some more testimonials, and you can watch them and be like, holy crap, this person who also works 70, 80 hours a week, who also weighed this much or had this goal, and who also had this specific time constraint, this specific motivator, who also didn't want to have to drink 4 coffees a day just to be functional, got great results with this program. So if I apply the same principles that this Munir guy is teaching on YouTube, or maybe if I do his program, I'm going to get great results. Now, again, I know that sounds like I'm trying to sell the program, so let's just take that variable out of it. Obviously, if you want to do the program, just hit me up. But if you want to just do this on your own, watch my free videos, okay? And now you have evidence that the opposite of the story is true. So now I want you to go in and think, what is my desired story? Okay, and again, this is just a stack process. I'm just extrapolating it in a video format for you here, but this is the process that Garrett J. White takes me through every single day when I go through the stack inside of his app, Attack with the Stack. Highly recommend checking him out if you want to access the stack yourself, or you can just ask yourself these questions too, right? So literally just go in there and say, okay, well, what's my desired version story? Now that I know that this story has this evidence, this story has this evidence, well, what do I ultimately want? What do I ultimately want? Okay, is this, negative version of the story going to get me what I want? Well, if I want to have a great body, and the version of the story which is, hey, this isn't worth it, it's hard, blah, 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 that's not going to get me the result I want. The opposite version of the story, yeah, of course it's going to get me the result I want. Now, what's the desired version of the story? The desired version is something like maybe, hey, this might be a little bit hard, but eventually it's going to get easy. It's going to be worth it. I got this. So I usually when I do the desired story, I think what's a story I can believe in? Because opposite story, oh, this is going to be super easy. Well, obviously it's not going to be completely easy because there's going to be some challenge. So I always use like a realistic version of the opposite story for the desired story, and then that is what allows me to produce the state that I want and the outcome that I want. So then when I think, okay, well, if the outcome I want is to have a great body, if I have a desired story of, hey, it's going to be a little hard in the beginning, but then it's going to get easy, it's going to be totally worth it, I'm going to get life-changing results, does that get me the result I want, which is to get my dream body? Yes, it does. And then what story are you choosing? I always choose a desired story. Occasionally I'll choose the opposite story, but usually I choose a desired story, and that becomes extremely powerful. And I'll actually screen share again, just because I want you guys to see kind of the rest of this, because you think about all that other stuff, right? And what I'm referring to there, RAS is flipped. If I'm focused on the people who, ghost me or tell me I'm annoying for following up with them, which actually nobody even said I was annoying, then obviously I'm going to focus on that. But if I'm focused on the clients who signed up, who are stoked and all that stuff, then guess what? That's what I'm going to focus on, loop on. So, anyways, I'm going to keep things confidential so I don't scroll too much down and reveal all my personal details and extrapolations from this lesson. But I choose the story because I believe in it, it's true, and it gets me what I want. And then, why has this trigger been positive? And another thing I can add to this list is it gave me the idea for this video. We're not going to share that with you, and somebody's going to get a really life-changing benefit from watching this video, which means now my trigger, my lesson that I've accessed through the trigger now produces results for you. So anyways, what I want to recap in this video is very simple. If you have something that you're procrastinating on or that you don't believe in yourself in, and you just have this negative emotion and resistance around a certain thing that you need to do to get the results that you want, what I want you to do is dive in and ask yourself, what is my story around this particular thing that is causing me to face this resistance? Now, what do I ultimately want? Okay, great. Well, will the story I currently have get me what I want? No. Well, what's the opposite version of that story? Well, here's the opposite version of that story. How does the opposite version of the story make me feel? Well, it makes me feel a lot better. And will that get me the result that I want? Yes, it definitely will. Okay, great. What's the desired version of the story? Well, and then find evidence that both the stories are true. That way you can kind of consider them equally. Then choose a desired version of the story and then be the desired version of the story so you can have the thing that you want. And that's ultimately the stacking process as I've kind of extrapolated it for you guys. I'd love to hear what's been your experience with this. Have you tried the Garrett J. White stack? Have you enjoyed it? Have you gotten the same revelations as me? Are there any stories or specific areas you're procrastinating on that you feel that this would help you with? Well, do it and let me know how it goes. And what I'm going to do my next video on is I'm going to do my video on more of the levels of energy, emotional approach to getting out of apathy. So I'm very excited to do that video. I'm going to note it down right now, and I look forward to showing you that tomorrow. If you haven't already, like, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend. Helps the algorithm to reach more people with this message. And I look forward to doing that apathy video tomorrow because I know it's going to change a lot of lives. I will see you guys in the next video.